Selena. It's a vibe, baby. Oak Cliff girl, can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl, put them wheels on and roll.
Welcome to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows.
It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You're gonna be my number one lover. Spend the night making love to each other, with the lights on top of the covers, just me and you, babe. And I feel like you're my
Love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana nana boo boo.
Hello, can y'all guys hear me? Thank you for coming through, Young Riaz and Von's Play. I'm still waiting on Miss Akemi. Hope she didn't forget. So if you guys see her in the chat, I don't know. I think she was going live a little earlier. Can you let her know that I'm live? But I definitely appreciate those who came and graced me with your presence. I'm it's just a lot going on in the world, and I love talking to elderly women or women that are older. Mr. Kimi is not an old lady, but she's older than me, and she has a lot of wisdom. If you guys were here on last week, I interviewed another lady by the name of Miss Artens, a lady that had been knowing me for a while, and I had interviewed her and got her perspective of um, how she sees the world, how she sees how other women portray themselves and things like that. So we talked a little bit about that. Thank you so much, Young Riz, and I definitely want to continue doing something like this where it maybe once a month I have a woman to come on and give her insight about how she sees the world. What did she do to get to the place that she, got to in her life and things of that nature. And I definitely want to talk a little bit about that. So, oh, great. I was about to Lord have mercy. I'm finna cam up. Miss Akemi, thank you for coming through. I thought you had forgot. I was like, oh my God. Yes, thank you. You're on mute, sweetie. Your mic is on mute. Okay, while she's fixing her, can you hear me? Thank you for coming through again. Young Riaz, Von's Play, Miss V, Miss Chicago. I really appreciate you. I'm definitely wanting to get some wisdom from Miss Akemi. Miss Akemi, if you can't hear you, so you might have to drop down and come back up. I don't know where the disconnection is, but I definitely can't hear anything you're saying. So yeah, she's gonna have to drop back up and drop. Well, I kind of had a rough time before I came. Hey, Naomi, before I came on, my breaker went out. She said, "Give me 2 minutes." My breaker went out, so I kind of had to get dressed in the dark. I have one side of my place with the lights on, then I got the other side that the lights are not on. So I don't know what's going on with that. So hopefully, if you hear my apartment's call, then I'm gonna have to get that call and politely step aside to get this to make sure they come on. If not, I gotta call somebody to come and do it because I've been turning on and off that breaker, and unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. So, but hopefully it will be done by today, whatever it is. Was blow drying my hair and everything like that. And then I'm like, well, my lace front, and I was like, what happened to the to the lights? So, I'm going to share with you while we're waiting on Miss Kimi. I'm going to share with you um, this particular video. I thought was pretty interesting. Kind of has something to do with what we were talking about. But I do appreciate you guys for coming through and showing me some love. Um, and I'm wanting to share this with you guys. Thought this was pretty funny. Well, not funny, but interesting.
Is gorgeous and pretty, it's 20 times more headache. Now hold on, because you fine too. Don't do that. But you a different kind of fine. Like I said, you a girl next door fine. There's a difference in both of them. Look at you.
I feel like you're gonna say you fine in your personality.
No. We have this, y'all. We have this talk all the time.
Your
I'm
personality
so happy.
is fine.
We always have this talk because it's so hard to describe this without essentially hurting Shane's feelings. Because like when I say like they drop dead gorgeous, it's almost like saying that Shane's not.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
I'm not a bad bitch.
Baby, you are everything in a bag of chips. All right, you are.
That's such an 80s compliment.
So this is You're in Danger, Girl. The influencer tells fiance she's easy to get along with because she's not that pretty. So let's see if Miss Akemi, you back?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I was like kind of worried at first. I was like, oh Lord. But I wanted you to see this video with me, and then I'm gonna stop and I want to get your perspective, and then we'll go on from there. Okay.
Yes.
This is pretty interesting. This is You're in Danger, Girl. Influencer tells fiance she's easy to get along with because she's not that pretty. So this is what it's about. So I want to get your feedback on that.
Oh my gosh.
All that in a bag of chips, baby.
I'm gonna go back.
Don't do that. But you a different kind of fine. Like I said, you the girl next door fine. There's a difference in both of them. Look at you.
I feel like you're gonna say you fine in your personality.
No. We have this, y'all. We have this talk all the time.
Your personality is fine.
We always have this talk because it's so hard to describe this without essentially hurting Shane's feelings. Because like when I say like they drop dead gorgeous, it's almost like saying that Shane's not.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
I'm not a bad bitch.
Baby, you are everything in a bag of chips. All right, you are.
That's such an 80s compliment.
Oh my gosh.
All that in a bag of chips, baby.
The thing about Shan is that I am extremely a lot more attracted to your personality than your looks. I know you probably don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that sounds really mean.
But those are the ones that we marry, right? There's girls that, as a man, that look amazing, that are fine. Like, damn, you look good. But like,
but that's it.
A mature man's gonna automatically categorize that as like a fun time.
So what do you think about that? Because hey, Lions Den, I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna say I get offended, but it does, like, just because a lady decides to dress up and look her very best, that she, now I'm not saying this is everything he said, I'm just saying that that's how some men look at you. You're just a fun time, you're just good to be on his shoulder, but you're not good enough to marry. What do you think about that, Miss Akemi?
I don't know if I got a whole lot of context because I have questions, right? So the first thing that I would want to know is if it's okay with her and she understands the dynamic of their relationship, their communication, how they interact with one another, then I don't think it really is a concern of anybody else to really care, right? Because those two are in the relationship. However, if I'm from the outside, looking in, or if it were me on the receiving end of that, I would be looking at him sideways.
Okay.
Okay. To me, my first instincts is that he is very insecure in some areas because that way he doesn't hesitate to vocalize that okay, well, I'm more attracted to your personality than I am your looks. Well, why even bring her looks up at all? This is somebody that you consider to be worthy of being a life partner,
Right.
especially to the world or to other people. Like, how does that include any of us? So I don't know. I just got some questions before I can like really hone in and answer that the way that I would like to. But
Right. Right.
I really, you know, if it were me, I would be offended.
Okay. So I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and then we're gonna go on to you and how Miss Akemi sees the world. Let me play just a little bit more. It says you're in danger.
You in danger, girl. Now, I don't know if you cringe as much as I did when you saw that clip, or you felt as bad for this woman as I did. But baby, I saw that and I was actually very sad for her and mad for her. And I was wondering why she wasn't mad. And, I really wish that women a lot of times would really listen to what men say.
Yes.
This man sat there up in her face and said, when a girl is gorgeous and pretty, she is 10 times more of a headache. But I love you because you a girl next door and you don't give me them type of problems because you don't look like that. And
I find it that some men do not like there's a difference between being difficult um or just being honorary than being challenged. Like you are challenged for a person, you make a person think, or you maybe introduce another way, like, or introduce them to another way of a perspective. There's a difference to me when when women are challenged, but I think some men confuse challenge with being difficult rather than seeing it as an opportunity that both of them can grow together. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. I don't see a partnership.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I just don't
Right.
see, because I'm going to be more concerned about the way my mate interprets me, the line of how we communicate, what works
Mhm.
for us. But my objective would be to show somebody I'm sharing a life with a lot more respect and acknowledgement than the outside world or people that don't affect my everyday life.
Right.
And so the reason why I said I would be looking at him sideways is because tell me how you really feel. So tell me you don't find
Exactly.
me feeling physically attractive, but you like my personality. So what if I get
Right.
sick and my personality changes?
Right.
Even if he cared about my looks, what those things are variables. Those things can be affected over time. But what is it about the substance of me being a woman that I don't have to be concerned about you leaving me or becoming so disinterested in a relationship with me and finding me expendable that now I don't feel secure in our relationship?
Right. That's what I think too. I really see that. Hello, Joe. Hey, Bolo. Thank you for coming through and showing some support. I agree with you on that as well. I just really feel like I just feel like it's a lot of insecure men, just like insecure women, and we all have our ideals of what
Mhm.
we think the perfect person for us, may be. But a lot of times we pick out of our insecurities instead of picking out of us being a whole person.
Right.
So Hey Duke, what's good? Hey CKJ. So
Salute to
that's
the
kind of what
chat.
I see.
Salute to the chat.
Yeah.
I no, I would have an issue, but I think that leads to more underlying issues that
Yes.
happen in their relationship, because another determining factor or factor that would put me on alert would be, why do you feel comfortable letting everybody else know how you see me? How is
Mhm.
that the world's business?
Right, that part. Well, I would like to introduce you guys to some and some that I already know. My Mr. Beautiful, Miss Akemi. Shout out to Miss Akemi. Miss Akemi did this at the last minute, so I know I must be some kind of special for her
Ah,
to for her to give me some of her precious time and share with me her thoughts on being a woman. And Miss Akemi know I ain't gonna be doing no crazy stuff. Now she seen me have little, have interviews before. And I don't know, Miss Akemi, if you caught the other live that I did last Saturday with a lady that I had been knowing for several years. Did you catch that one?
I did.
Okay.
I
And
did. I
so
was in the bushes.
Okay, so that's kind of what I want to do today.
Mhm.
But I really want to know some things about you, but I also want to know on, how do you see the state of women now? Like, do you see that it's we're in trouble? Are we progressing? You're in a different generation than me, and forgive me, I'm not trying to say you're an old woman. You're not. You're very vibrant, middle-aged woman, but I wanted to, a lot of the times we look to old, women that are older than us for wisdom.
Mhm.
Can get it from our mom, if our mom's not there, sometimes we can get from aunties or women at the church. I was blessed to have all of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though my mother wasn't there present, because she had transitioned. I had aunties, I had older cousins, I had big sisters, I had women at the church, I had women in like different little organizations that I was in that constantly showed me what a lady is, what a true young lady is. And that's why I try to carry myself, the best that I can. Now, every now and then, you already know, Mr. Kimi, when I had to come on here and I had to get in some people butt, because I had to
Yeah,
let them
pop
know.
out.
Yeah, like I had to let them know. Don't let the cute face fool you. Okay.
Mhm.
And but it's all games and fun when I say that, but it's really true. But at the same time, I always bring myself back to what I know best. You know what I'm saying? So, and thank God for the people that always bring me back. Like, Selena, come on back. You don't went all the way left. Let's get over here. So, shout out to those people. But Mr. King, I gotta say, I am really impressed by your demeanor. You don't let too many things shake you, even when you had a crazy lunatic coming at you. You still remain, you're very demure, you're very just straight up, and you spoke with boldness. You were just assertive. You wasn't aggressive, cussing and saying I'm gonna whoop yo, da da da, nothing like that. And I was impressed with you then. You know what I'm saying? You've always carried yourself as a lady, and I think that anybody, I don't care if you're young, middle age, older, that's our goal. It should be our goal to always be a lady. you know um People shouldn't hear you before you enter the room, right? So I want to know a little bit about you, your background. Just, you don't have to go into details, but kind of how you were raised up. And let's start from there.
Okay. So I don't know. Now all of a sudden I'm hearing feedback. Okay.
It's
Is
on
the
my end.
audio, do you hear it on your end?
No, I don't hear it on my end.
Testing, 1, 2, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so I think it's okay.
Okay.
Well, because that was a multi, you kind of led with one thing and then you went into the question, but I want to address what you said before the question, right?
Okay.
As far as my I guess you said the word demure,
Yeah.
or okay, and I utilize some emotional intelligence, if you will,
Yes.
that has taken me some time to develop. Some women get it earlier, some do not. It's just based off of your situation, your upbringing, a lot of different variables. But one thing that I do want to iterate is that from a young girl, I have always been taught that you teach people how to treat you.
Right.
And something as simple as giving respect and expecting it in return, the reciprocity aspect of every relationship. I don't care if it's work, if it's personal,
Right.
if it's between siblings, you and your home girl, everybody. Nobody is exempt. My children, you teach people how to treat you. And part of that, with that territory, goes having boundaries. Um, it's really simple for me. If you don't impact or affect my everyday life, I'm not giving you a whole bunch of my energy. Especially at this season of my life. I probably have more years behind me than I have ahead of me, and I'm a lot more intentional about what I give my time and attention to. But I mean, it is in my spirit and my soul and my heart that I don't concern myself with, because shout out to Miss Yo. Miss Yo
Shout out.
always says it, right? Says it so eloquently. There's a why. There's always a why. So whenever, situations arise and people lead with disrespect or insults, there's usually a why, and it's pretty kind of easy to read for me. So I don't internalize and take things so personal. Therefore, if I don't get in my feelings, I'm not going to lead and respond with my feelings. So if you don't affect my everyday life, I don't care enough to wallow in the mud with you or anybody else for that matter. If we're not feeding each other, if we're not adding value to whatever we have going on, I'm going to move around, and I'm going to do it respectfully. It doesn't mean we have to be enemies. It doesn't mean that, you have to go and talk about me or say untrue things about me. It could be something as simple as just realizing that, you know what, this isn't going to get us anywhere. And does it affect your everyday life? Do I add value to your everyday life? Why are you extending the kind of energy to even go down this road? So that I just wanted to clarify that. And it really, at this, like I said, at this season of my life, I'm not moving. I've been through enough in my life to where I've toughened my skin, and there's a lot that doesn't shake me. I've been through some things,
And one of those things that you even talked about on your live, and see, I didn't know that until I went into the live and saw your testimony of you being a survivor of breast cancer. And from my understanding, you were in stage 4. Am I correct or not?
No, I
You
was
wasn't
never in stage 4. I was, I won't go into what stage I'm in, but it wasn't terminal.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't even really acknowledge, and I'm not saying that the stages don't progress and that they don't get worse, because they do. I've lost several family members to stage 4s.
Right.
But to me, all cancers are serious.
Very much so.
And the one thing I don't like is they give you a lot of the one side approach. It's like a one size fits all, no matter, the only thing they really do is kind of make the treatment more aggressive, but they still give you the same kind of thing to kind of deal with. So you're still going to experience, no matter what stage you're in, what I called a near-death experience.
Right.
For me.
Yeah, your story was really touching to me because I had a family member last year that passed.
Okay.
So it was very touchy feely for me when I was hearing your story actually.
Mhm.
And I was calling my sister because I was just like, man, every time I hear a story about this, about someone surviving it, I'm thankful that they did. I just wish my loved one could have did this, the same thing. So
Yes.
when you were going through that process of you, finding out that you had, you know, uh, cancer, breast cancer at the time, can you kind of go back to me what was your feeling at the time? Were you kind of, I'm assuming you were scared,
Mhm.
or some people, even though they're scared, they still trust God, they still trust a higher power. Can you take me, if you don't mind, if it's not too touchy for you, to go back when you found out, when you went to the doctor and found out you had cancer?
I knew it before I was diagnosed. I
Wow.
was having symptoms, which led me to go get checked out. I was going through a very stressful period in my life.
Hmm.
I had lost my dad. My mom,
Sorry.
she was discovered with having some health challenges.
Hmm.
And I had a small child
Okay.
at the time. So I'm talking a toddler when I was diagnosed.
Wow.
I had a full, and then I was basically the rock of my family.
Hmm.
And I was the one that kind of made sure everybody was good. And I realized, okay, well, you've done it so much to now you're not good.
Hmm.
And I really believe like God put me in a situation and a position to where I had to rely on other people instead of being the one that was always relied upon.
Wow.
And that was very humbling for me
Hmm.
because I unbeknownst to me, it's just kind of my personality to be super independent and not want
Yeah.
depend on a whole bunch of other folk for stuff and inconvenience folk, even though like when I help people, I don't feel inconvenienced. So it
That's the breaker. My breaker went out, so
oh
he's
it
coming.
did.
Hold on
Okay.
just a second. Entertain.
Yes. All right. Salute to the chat. Hey everybody. I hope everybody's day is going well.
I don't know what.
The all is well in the world. So we got Joe Delaney in the chat. Bolo, hey babes, hey
What this?
babes. We got CKJ, Roll Money. Oh, Roll, is it Roll Money? Roll 3 Money. CC is in the building. Myron, Vance Plays. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you. Know Selena does, and I do as well. So I'll just go ahead because she might be able to hear me. But I during my journey, I actually, upon my diagnosis, I kind of knew you good.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's fixing it while
You
I'm
lied.
talking. Yeah, because I was kind of like, man, I need my lights. So,
Well, you
but
can't
anyway,
tell.
yeah, because I was getting ready in the dark. I was like, my God, thank God I ain't ugly. So I was like, but I needed some makeup. I was in some bad shape. And
Listen,
so, but yeah, thank you for coming through, Myron, CC, Cutting Edge. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Everybody that show us some love.
yeah.
Okay, now finish what you were saying.
So I was speaking on my journey and my diagnosis is when I kind of knew things were at a point where you just know.
Uh huh.
And so I went and got diagnosed. And yes, it did frighten me. However, I'm solution oriented. So once I got over the initial shock of it all, I said, okay, well, I have been not really acknowledging and taking care of me, taking care of my health, doing what I need. I was putting everybody else first. And
Right.
that just is it was just letting me know, okay, since you didn't want to listen, I'm gonna sit you down.
Yeah. Hey, Clean.
and you're gonna exercise some self-care, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily. So I was like, all right then.
And that's kind of what hey T Smith, that's what I see when I'm going through situations, Miss Akemi. It's just like I've always been very fierce, independent. I've always learned how to do things on my own because that's how my daddy raised me, right?
Yes.
You better get out there, figure it out. Don't trust nobody. He was just telling me things like that. So it created, maybe it's gonna be hard for me to sometimes, depend on God, or sometimes depend on a man, or not depend, but allow a man to do, because I have always did it on my own. And so when I have situations, sometimes I think it's just God trying to show me that I got to look up. I have to ask him for help, or I got to be able to stop being so prideful and being so independent. If I need help, ask somebody, hey, I'm going to need you to come look at my car. Or, hey, I might need you to do this because, I can't do it. And sometimes we are in situations like you were, that you were so used to doing it the way you used to do it. You were so used to being the person that people, came to and asked for help. You had to be the one that had to ask for help at this time. So it's kind of like sometimes God has to, I don't know if it's God, or sometimes it could be, or just life puts us on our back where all we have to do is look up. We have nothing else.
Look up, look to the side, allow people in. You said something that one of the things you felt your dad taught you was how not to trust.
Mm-hmm.
And in life, we got to trust somebody.
Exactly. That's what I'm learning.
Yes. Well, if you look at it from a creation perspective, right? We weren't put here alone.
Mm-hmm.
We were birthed pretty much, unless you're, twin, a triplet, and so on and so forth. But I'm saying, like, God created the world for us to multiply.
Right.
Why would we be so isolated and so individualistic that we don't need anybody when everything around us actually promotes the idea that it's just the opposite? We all do need each other. I think that's one
Yeah.
of the reasons that the world is so messed up and full of division today, is because
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to depend on anybody else. Nobody wants
Right.
to trust. It's hard to trust because you just never know. You'd rather fail on your own than to hold somebody else responsible, because now you sit back and you're like, well, that was my fault for even trusting them in the first place.
Yeah, I think sometimes, Miss Akemi, our parents set us up in some ways for failure. They don't mean to, but I think that some of the advice is like, no, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? So it takes you to do a lot of rethinking, reevaluating some of the things. Like I said, with me, I was hey Tuber, I was very independent, and that's because of what my daddy told me. But what he didn't tell me is sometimes you're going to have to trust people, or trust people to a certain extent, or be careful, but you still have to observe who is good, who is to be trusted, who is not to be trusted. Those are the things he should have put in that, because a lot of the times your family or your parents, they definitely put a lot of thinking errors in your mind.
Yes,
Can you tell
but I
me?
will say this, not to cut you short, but I
Okay.
think that we really put a lot of burden on our parents too.
Yeah.
A lot of expectations and responsibility. And I'm not saying that that's what we do, all of us, or what you're doing as far as placing blame or shifting some of the blame. However, I just want to make clear that our parents do what they can, the best that they can at the time. And we all come from broken backgrounds. We all come
Right.
from dysfunction at some point, right?
Right.
And one of the biggest lessons that I learned through life comes from me falling or feeling like I failed at something. And a lot of times it's not something that my parents either were able to teach me or could have taught me. And now that both of my parents have transitioned on, I become more aware that they just did the best that they could with what they
Yeah,
had.
they do the best that they can.
Hmm.
And that's,
But
oh, go ahead.
when you realize something or you acknowledge it, you can change it. So for you to say, you know what, I do have trust issues, or I do have issues with letting people in to a certain extent or at all, depending on your trauma, your past
Mhm.
experiences, right? Or what you've internalized as trauma. But I just also want to throw out there that there's nothing wrong with some therapy either, having somebody to talk to help you sort through some of that trauma and PTSD, because a lot of times we don't even realize it's so normal to us because we've always dealt with it and it's always been around us, that a lot of times we have characteristics and responses to behavior we don't even realize until stuff go left, and it
Right.
keeps going left, and everybody else can't be the problem. Now you kind of look at
Mhm.
you a little bit more.
Yes. And since you brought up therapy, I think that's really a good place for me to come in because that's something that I did on my own. I knew that there was some issues. And mind you, how I was able to forgive my father for a lot of things because I realized he did the best that he could with what he knew how, right? That's what most parents do anyway. Some people they just figure it out as they go, right? So
Mhm.
when I understood that and I started looking at some of my actions, even though maybe they were learned behavior, I started to kind of look at myself and be like, well, how can I get out of this learned behavior? How can I um, renew my mind to where I can start doing the total opposite of what I did before? And one of the things that helped me was therapy. That was one of the things that kind of opened my mind to a whole different world, a way of thinking. Of course, with my faith and, having other people to mentor me. So those were the things that I learned. Therapy is essential for some people, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think if more people took their mental health more seriously, there will be less problems that we have on here. Now, I do have some was PTSD sometimes dealing with people on here because I'm like, I don't know if you coming in peace or you coming with some diabolical kind of situation. So this kind of, I think this platform can sometimes create a lot of fear and distrust because of whatever you've been through dealing with people on here.
And
Um,
whatever's being presented to you, because you're
right.
going to see certain behaviors in people, things that they say, techniques, or ways that they come at you. And I want the discernment to kick in. I want the judgment. I want the logic to take effect and come to the forefront, because that is, we're all going to wonder. People, things are not going to always seem true on the surface, or it will seem true, but beneath the surface, it can be a different story. Well, you need some type of insight, discernment, your gut feeling, your
Mhm.
first thought, however you classify it. Don't ignore it.
Right. So now, Miss Akemi, and with discernment, it comes common sense and being able to apply it, right? So
Mhm.
now I just observe people. I might not say too much. I might not, interact a lot, but with the person, but I definitely will observe you and I
Mhm.
observe to see if I want to go any further as far as whatever friendship, whatever it is. I'm not so quick to take people on into my life especially on here. I'm definitely not too quick to say, oh, this is my friend, or she's cool or he's cool. Uh-uh. You definitely need to sit back and watch, because you don't know. Like I said, I always come in, what do you want? And I hate to be that way, but what do you want? What do you need from me? Because most of the time people need something or want something from you. It could be good or it could be bad. That's how I look at it. But I do believe that you should ask those questions sometimes, or just observe to see what it is their purpose is in your life at the time, or is it temporary, or is it a lifetime. You just kind of have to observe things. Hey, Ryan, I know you've been on this platform for a few years. Well, I would say maybe 4 to 3 years you've been, in the chats. And did you start out in the Kwame Brown's chat, or were you in other chats before?
I was in the bushes for Kwame Brown for the first year. So I was here from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I popped in and started speaking and kind of communicating in the chat about a year, maybe a little bit more after that.
Okay.
I was in bite-sized pieces, so I wouldn't.
So you was like looking around the corner. It reminds me of something. Somebody sent me a meme of it was a cat that had a shower cap, and he told me, he said, that's like you. They was in the shower, and they heard some noise, and they were looking around like, who is this? What's going on? So you had to take it slow before you came
into it. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Yeah. So when you finally decided, I'm gonna come out and get in the chats, when was it that you decided to get on his platform and introduce yourself?
When I came out the bushes.
When you came out the bushes.
Before that. Yeah, when I came out the bushes, I had been in the chat probably, I don't know, maybe a good 6 months before. I was very shy, very, I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, I don't know about these people, because there was a lot going on. And
right.
Kwame was going with everybody. He was accepting every challenge that came his way back then, and putting folk down. And it was just like, oh, this is a lot. Because the attraction and the thing that intrigued me was that he was speaking a language that I think a lot of people needed to hear at that time, but wasn't hearing. It wasn't something that you heard from the average person anywhere on any platform. So, I could see that he was reaching people and making an impact while he was going through his process of whatever he was going through at the time. Right?
Yeah. So, it's still going through.
I'm telling you, it's a constant evolution. We leave up out of here figuring things out.
Right. Do you now, since you've been on the platform and you even gotten your own channel, did some of that shyness kind of go away, or is it still there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm like that with everything, though. Like you said, I observe. I sit back, especially, in environments that shift or whatever, and times in my life whether I move, whether, it could be anything. In new environment, I'm going to sit back and observe for a while. And then if I want to test the waters, I will. If not, I'll move around to something because my whole purpose of being here is God led. So if it doesn't fit the scheme in my spirit, I can't be responsible about how other people view or what they think I should be doing with my life or what my purpose is. But what I believe is included in my purpose, that's what I'm going to go with. And I really also, I think one of the keys to living is knowing when to walk away from something.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm good at saying goodbye.
The gift of goodbye.
Yeah, I'm really good with that. Um, and it gives you a lot of peace too when you can be like, look, yeah, it's not working for me. So yeah,
It can be a hard truth, especially
yeah.
like when you're dealing with relationships with somebody that you really feeling. If you're looking at, maybe an opposite sex relationship or whatnot, right? And
Mhm.
you really you've given up some things, you're making sacrifices, you're letting people in where you normally don't feel like you want to be vulnerable to people.
Mhm.
So these things where it may from the outside looking in may not seem like a lot, it may be a lot to you. However, now that's where I've had some challenges in the past is knowing when to walk away because I don't give up on stuff.
Mm.
That's not in my nature. My nature is to see it through to its fruition or the end, especially if I've sat back, observed long enough, and then made the decision, the calculated decision to go into it anyway. Now I'm in, right?
Right.
But life ain't like that. It sounds good.
No, no.
Mm-mm.
It sure don't. I told this one guy, I was like, I'm only gonna do as much as you're gonna do, right? If you're not gonna do enough, or you're not going to pursue, I'm definitely not going to. So I'm kind of one of those people. I believe in reciprocity. And if I don't see it's being made, and then because I'm gonna make sure I do the same thing, but I match people's energy. So that's another way I know when to, okay, it's just not meant to be, right? So you have to know when to, it's a song that I can't ever remember. You got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them. I don't know. I can't
Know when
remember.
to
It's
walk
something
away
like,
and know when to run.
yeah, right. So it's something like that. So I just was like, you just really have to know when to walk away. And I'm glad that you talked about that. Now, with you, you've been a kind of a shy person. You seem like a person to yourself. Did you ever have a lot of female friends, or were you very, kind of a loner with that? You didn't really, kind of deal with a lot of women.
I have a tribe that I've worked all my life to
Okay.
not acquire, but to maintain with reciprocity. I've been very fortunate in that area because I am reserved and I am, what's the word I'm looking for?
Thank you, Mrs. Smitty.
Hey, Smitty, salute to the chat, salute to the chat.
Yeah,
Um,
support.
yes, please
Yes,
feel free
indeed.
to member up. Is all
Yes.
memberships are available as well. So,
Yeah, and please,
um,
if you're a mod in the chat, if you can put Miss Akimi's channel in the chat so people will know how to go to her channel. Thank you.
thank you, appreciate you.
Mhm.
I have been selective is the word I want to use. I've always been very selective about who I allow close to me
Right. That.
because I know even though I'm more sure of who I am now than I've ever been, even when I was a little girl and unsure in a lot of areas, I was sure that what I had, God gave me. I was still figuring it out, but everybody wasn't privy to the full me, the
Mhm.
full pack, no matter what I was going through. So I have accumulated over a lifetime in my youngest friendship before Miss Yo, right?
Mhm.
Was a best friend of mine, and my youngest friendship, or the friendship that I've had the least amount of time that I consider to be my tribe, is we're at 15 years. So 15 years and out, I have people that I've been dealing with my entire, either my adult life, all the way back through college, grade school. I have a best friend of mine, where we've been best friends since fifth grade and we still talk on a regular basis.
Wow,
So,
that's excellent.
yeah, I do have some very solid relationships, but we respect each other. We respect each other. We teach each other how to treat each other. We're honest
Mhm.
with each other when we see one of us is going left or right or up and down out of the perimeter. We say something, but then we love each other enough to let you live your life and let you make, the decisions that you feel is best for you at that time. We don't
Mhm.
pass judgment. And we correct in love. That's important. It's not what you say, it's how you say it to me. It's the spirit in
Right.
which it is given that I'm going to pick up on first.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. Do you're just very selective of the people that you interact with, the people that get close to you. Basically, that's how I am too.
Mhm.
Even though it may take a challenge in my case for you to kind of get there, but definitely when you get there, you will definitely see all, me, all of me, it's, and I I have to get to that point where I see that in you because of the things when you've been through certain situations. It really should teach you some lessons. You shouldn't be stupid the second time or the third time. You have to stay away from Stupidville. And a lot of situations that happen, they're there to teach you a lesson so you won't repeat it, right? So I'm kind of like you as well. I have close friends, but I'm very selective of the people now that I interact with, even on an associate level. Sometimes people on the associate level, they can kind of sneak in, but they might need to still be on the outside, right? The outskirts. So that is something that I'm still learning how to manage, right?
It helps me it's a mindset for me, right?
Mhm.
Just like everything else. It's the mindset. It's how you think about things, how you process them, and how you materialize them through your emotional intelligence. One of the things that I have come to understand is that every relationship that you have, good or bad, is going to cost you something.
Yes, that's
It's
true.
going to cost. You're not going to be able to go into any relationship long term, allow people in, whether it's right beneath the surface,
Hmm.
right below the surface, or further in. The deeper it goes, the more it's going to cost you. So I think if we get to the point where we understand that, okay, what is it going to cost me, and is it something I really want to pursue? So that has helped me pick my tribe, right? It
Hmm.
has helped me, and it's not, my tribe doesn't just involve females. I have males in my tribe as well. I don't discriminate because I go
Hmm.
off of how people treat me and how we value one another through the relationship.
Mm, that's wonderful. Have you experienced a lot of jealousy?
Oh yes.
Okay. How did you
It's
deal with that, Miss Akemi? Because I'm not so sure that I know how to deal with it properly.
mhm.
Um, can
I
you kind
don't.
of, okay.
It's not my issue. Someone else and how they feel about what they think of me is not my issue. So I don't invest emotionally into trying to figure out why this person feels the way that they do about me. As long as they keep me at arm's length and they
Mhm.
don't come bothering me, then we good.
Right, right, right. Yeah, when they bother you, I like to see that other side of you.
I
I like
like
to see the other
seeing that
side.
side. Every I
Oh
really do
Lord.
because it can get ugly, and I've been there and done that. It's just I'm looking at the rewards or the lack of rewards. With it
Right.
feels good at the moment to lose my shit. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But
indeed.
I'm telling you, there's a cost, there's a consequence, and I think the biggest accountability partner that I have is my children, because
Right.
they're watching how you respond to adversity, to jealousy, to people that are coming and messing with you for or what you feel is no reason, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody coming and they have an agenda to take what you've worked for or what you have. They have a motive. There's,
Mm-hmm.
but my kids are watching what I
Mm-hmm.
do. They're watching how I respond, and they're watching how I move and navigate through the toughest times.
Right. Right.
And because I'm telling you, how you deal with it is how your children are going to be given an indirect permission. They're going to feel like, and the first thing they're going to tell you, know how our kids are, oh, but you did it.
Right.
That's how you are. How you gonna sit up here and tell me something when you sound like a hypocrite?
Hmm.
And nowadays, people emotionally unravel at an accelerated rate. So where we could afford back in the day, or I can speak for me,
Uh-huh.
to be quick to kick my shoes off and take it to the street, they're bringing heat. They got switches. They got,
Right. Right. Right.
they dealing with stuff a little bit different, and their threshold for anger is very small.
Very.
Quick to
Very.
react. So, what worked for me 30, 40 years ago, that ain't gonna work for with the kids we got going on right now.
Right. Right.
So to answer his question, no, I did not. I did
Okay.
not attend I did go to college, but it was not an HBCU.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, I talked about you earlier, how you come off very demure, very reserved. You know how to be when to be assertive and not aggressive. Those are some of my definitions on when I feel like um, when a lady is classy. Can you give me your definition of what a classy lady is?
When everybody doesn't know what you got to give,
Okay.
when you don't feel like what you have to offer to the world is not for the world to have, how you carry yourself, how from just simple things as to how you sit, if you sit straight up and you have good posture, if when
Mm-hmm.
people speak to you, you give them eye contact. For those that you go to shake, I don't know, people don't like to shake hands anymore, but back in the day,
Yeah.
a firm handshake, especially amongst men or males, tells a lot, or told a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, as for it's in me. Being reserved is just in me, but I've lived enough life to be able to see how people are treated differently based off of how they present themselves.
Great.
One thing I've never liked to do, and so I position myself to not have to do it, is defend myself to a man or a woman, to try to explain something that should be apparent and evident with the way that I present myself. I'm not going to sit back and try to convince you that I have respect for myself, or that I have boundaries that I will enforce if they're crossed.
Mm-hmm.
People typically know that if they have a conversation with me, if they watch how I move, if they watch how I present myself. But everything ain't for everybody. That's one of
Right.
the adjustments that I had coming to become a content creator, is that we've seen how the doxing game goes, and particularly in this sector, and how
Right.
people, when they don't get what they want out of you, they'll lie on you, they'll create
Exactly.
stories in order to try to besmirch your name or make
I
you look.
know about it. Mm-hmm.
I know you do. I know you do.
Right.
But
So,
that works for me. It's like I said, there are certain things we can be taught, and then there are certain characteristics that
mhm.
I can't just only explain that. Now, my dad didn't play.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna
Right.
even listen. Linda and Larry, my daddy did not, and I thank him for it. And he not even here anymore in the flesh. But I did, and there were times where I thought he was super strict. I couldn't wear makeup. I remember one time my mom entered me into a beauty pageant. I was 13 years old, never wore makeup, none of that. So, but my mother did, and she made my face up, and I won the pageant. But when I got home, my dad was home and he saw that makeup on my face. He lost it.
Right.
He was wiping the makeup off. He was like, "What? She looks like she's about 20 years old. What? No, we don't do
Right.
that.
Right.
You can wear makeup, but she ain't wearing no makeup." And so he kind of gave me a stigmatism that I think subconsciously I was like, "Yeah, I don't know about this thing. I think I'm good on the makeup. I don't need
Right. Right.
that side. But I knew there was more to it. And all the way up until, like how I dressed. I always like I love me some baggy pants, but I like them. I like the little hip huggers back in the day where you just
Uh-huh.
rest on your hip. So you're not showing everything, but you still have a little bit of a sex appeal. You still,
Right.
you're
Right.
not walking around looking like Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
So I always just had a style of dress that did not reveal, to me what should be, and we've lost that. I ain't
Private.
gonna even
Yeah.
lie. We have lost that. When you can go to the grocery store. I have sons, and my youngest son is a teenager. And ever since, this is something we have dealt with his whole life, going into a store, going in the public, and women just revealing so much more of themselves to where he's going to look. But
Right.
why should he don't see that at home? Why do we have to go to the grocery store and he be every time you turn around, he's seeing camel toes and booty cheeks, and we used to wear slips, we used to wear girdles, we used to, when if you jiggled, you were classified as something different.
Uh-huh.
People used to say, "Well, she might be loose."
Right. Right.
And now it's like the more you jiggle, the more appealing you are. And it's like what's up is down and what's down is up. So
Right. It's just a whole big mess. Hey, Phoenix. It's just a whole big mess. And I even have to sometimes watch myself too, because when you're shaped different, it's like you have to watch that you don't do too much. You can still be sexy, but don't be to where, everybody could just, say, see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have I would say, discretion when it comes to,
discretion,
like, even
decorum.
when I
Mhm,
go to church. There's just certain things I know I can't wear. Okay. And if I
mhm,
wear something, I'm definitely going to have to put on a big blazer, right, to cover myself, because I'm going in the house of the Lord, and I can't
mhm.
be a Jezebel in there, So I think that that comes with sometimes that comes with wisdom in time, but sometimes it's also about how you've been taught. Like, because I've been taught in a certain way, I just know, no, that ain't right. You shouldn't wear that, right? So, but everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have that. Um, I have to be honest, I always say that. I always start off like that. But um, I'm kind of, most people don't think I am, but if they get to know me, they know I'm very reserved, especially when it comes to dealing with people. And I don't like when I feel like, either somebody's playing with me or somebody is not being, very truthful with me. And so I'm a lot more, even more reserved now, right? And I felt like when we were getting to know each other, we both were looking at the side to see, okay, is it, is this person okay? Is this person okay?
Is
Because
it safe to come outside
is
and
it safe?
play?
Is it safe, God? Is it safe? So I think both of us was like that with each other at first, and we're still, look, we still seeing, because of what we have experienced on this app,
Or what
and
we're seeing.
what we've seen, because sometimes it doesn't take things to happen to you. You could just see what another person does to another person, and believe you, when it's mad day, they coming for you, and they're going to do the exact same thing that they did to the other person. So it makes you very more hesitant to deal with anyone, right? How did you figure out, or are you still figuring out, if I was okay to deal with?
That's a good question. That's a good question, because I heard about you well before I knew who you were. Your name used to
Oh
always
God.
ring. No, it
Right.
wasn't in a bad way. It was always from a standpoint where a lot of the male content creators or subscribers, they would get on panels or come to certain pages, and then they would mention your name. And then, like Bolo would always say, drop the link. Y'all got to sub up to Selena, Selena, Selena. And so it was just you were a content creator way before I was. So me coming into the content creation world, of course, I heard your name more frequently, right? And so I really didn't start to like watch your page or look from the bushes until then.
Okay.
Because like I said, I was hearing about you or whatnot. What I will say is that when you are reserved and everybody kind of peeking, trying to figure and feel everybody out, I go with that flow. I try not to become so predisposed as to, okay, well, picking out anything that's bad or good, but just taking it for what it is. And whatever needs to be revealed, and not just you, but with anybody, it will reveal itself in due time. And
Right.
I really learned that. So again, I know I might sound repetitive, but I want this to register. I don't invest enough until I invest enough, right? So the need and the desire and the curiosity, it will develop over time and it will be gradual, but I don't rush it, and I don't try to jump the gun or to assume things that I'm not sure if they're true, whether it's good or bad. I'm just in general, right? So until you show me something different, then I'm going to take you for face value. I'm going to examine, like Kwame said, the behavior. I look at the behavior. None of us are perfect. Absolutely none of us. I look at foundational principles. I look at foundation and character. I look for, okay, it's okay if you pop off every now and again, but are you aligning yourself with the same people that disrespected you and didn't care enough about you to drag you through the mud, to do whole live streams on you, to bait you in the chats? I don't socialize and hang around people that I can't trust, or at least they have given me a reason not to. So I gave a general answer. I know you were speaking specifically of you, but I was able to express myself through that type of analogy.
Right. And I can understand that as well, because a lot of the times, as older people say, everything's comes out in the wash. So give it some time, right? And then you'll see if this person is actually real, if this person is this type of person, it will come out. And a lot of times, if you ask, I'll let you. Sometimes you don't even have to ask. I'll tell you what I am.
That's right.
Because sometimes, I'd be like, nah, I really just don't give a damn. And
I was gonna say that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I hate to see. I don't want to be vulgar when I say it, but that's really how I feel. A lot of the times, I feel like some things need to be said, and I'm going to say it. You know what I'm saying? And then also I'm the type of person too. If I don't want to be bothered with you, I don't want to be bothered with you. There's nothing you could say or nothing you can do to change my mind. I'm stubborn when it comes to something I truly believe in. I'm stubborn when it comes to something that I know I see, you know, and people kill me like, and like I said, I shouldn't say that, but I definitely, I had to work on when I was younger to not be blunt because I came off rude, right? So then I learned how to be passive aggressive. That, well, I'm saying what I really want to say, but not really, because I'm trying to be nice, but it's really coming off nice, nasty. So then I'm learning how to be more assertive and straight up, like, without being blunt.
You're trying to still be genuine and authentically honest, but you're just refining your delivery a little bit.
Very much so, because you can get more with honey than you can with vinegar, right?
Very true.
That's the same. So there's just certain ways, if we're learning to be classy or whatever, we're trying to be a decent young lady, there's just certain ways you have to deliver things without, being rude or being nice, nasty. Now, there is times you're going to be direct and it will come off nasty because sometimes the truth hurts. Every truth is not going to taste good. Somebody can give me some constructive criticism, sorry. And I might hear it and I'm like, hell, that was kind of rough, but I needed it.
Because again, we can change what we acknowledge. But let me just say this too. I think sometimes we become too invested in things that really don't require that much investment, that really don't require that much attention or effort on our parts to try to figure so much out. And I think that with my personality, I have to always be mindful of that because I'll go around the corner, down the block, up the side of the building, back down on the other side. I'm solution oriented and I'm always looking for rhyme and reason behind everything because that's my nature, right?
Right.
It's exhausting. And at the end of the day, a lot of things that I have found myself doing that with, they don't make a difference in my real life at the end of the day. So I've wasted time instead of being intentional, right? And instead of listening to react and respond instead of listening to understand, it's a very important component of communication, in my opinion. So when you're having a conversation with somebody, if you're talking at somebody, or if the only reason that you're really having a conversation is to get your point across, and you're not really concerned about having a conversation and coming to an understanding, that's going to be a very big indicator for me that maybe this isn't worth what we got going on.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's just some people that I have already made up in my mind. There's no communication. I don't want any communication with you because guess what? That other person comes out, right? I know I don't like for people to steal joy from me or a peace of mind, right? So there's just some situation, some people I don't have conversation for, period, because I already know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And because I know me, which is a great thing, I know when to pull back because I can get straight up ignorant. And that's something that I try to stay away from because I know I want to go a different path. But it's in all of us, right?
But let's look at that a little deeper, though. Instead of saying, or okay, like you, the way you just expressed it, you say, you know, they can, if I have certain conversations with certain people, they will bring out the side of me that I don't really want, you know, that I'm
Right.
trying to bury and put to the side. I don't want to get out of character. I would venture to ask myself a different question. Does this person add value to my life?
Just like you were
Will
saying
there
earlier.
be reciprocity in our exchange? You
Mhm.
will know the answer to that question before you have that exchange, because you've, like we talked about, you've observed their behavior. So
Mhm.
you already know how they're going to respond, and you already know how you're capable of responding, right?
Right. That part.
So the point that I'm making, though,
Right.
is I'm asking myself the question, what would I gain from having a conversation with this person?
Not a D thing.
That part. That part.
Mhm.
That's why I always say everything doesn't require a response.
Mhm.
People that come at you sideways want a response. They're doing it for a response from you. They want to see you get out of character. You make content for them. You
Mhm.
give them validation that what they said about you is true. So that's what they're trying to draw out. As I've stated before, I'm particular about who I give access to me to, for
Right.
that reason. Why would I give somebody that I have no knowledge of, I will never probably see in real life, and I'm speaking from the aspect of being on the platform.
Mhm.
Why we just way too invested on this apparatus for people that we don't know nothing about in real life.
Man, you
Way too invested. I listen, you ain't got to be my enemy because I don't want to talk to you.
that part. Or I block you. I block you for a reason. You disrespectful. Beep, beep. So it's like, don't take it personal. Just go up. Hey, just go on about your business. Like I'm finna go on about mine. But you're right. I think that people, and I at one point I did too. I got too invested. And I had to pull myself back because I seen that I was getting so invested. I was making this my real life. I woke up YouTube. I slept YouTube because I was thinking about everything that was going on rather than really getting involved in my real life. So when I learned to do that and kind of learned to compartmentalize basically, you know, my emotions and situations, I'm a lot better because I realize my real life is still waiting for me. So my real life should never, YouTube should never get so into my real life that I lose myself.
Mhm.
You understand? And care so much about people that I don't know and that don't know me. And hopefully, God willing, we'll never meet.
Yes,
Right.
that part.
And that's hopefully and prayerfully. Hey,
Mhm.
Kiki. Hey, thank you, Mindful. Hey, Mike. Thank you for coming through, Kiki. I'm so happy to see you. So, yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And I'm glad that you said that about not being too invested. And I kind of really see that you're extremely not invested. you just you're extremely like Miss Akemi, you just like in your own look. I ain't bother you. I'm in my own lane over here driving by myself. I ain't looking to the left, to the right. Hey, you doing your own thing, and that's what I like about you. You don't care.
And I do
So
that in real life.
thank you. In real life, right.
In
Thank
real
you so
life.
much, Michael. Yeah, so that really is impressive to me because that is something I definitely want to get to the point. I have gotten so much better, right?
Mhm.
Before you can kind of see my progression, hopefully.
Mhm.
Hopefully that you seeing that
It comes through your platform because that's the only way I have to identify any progression on your end, right?
Right,
But
right.
definitely from your content to your I mean, none of us are perfect, and we're all a work in progress. But I
Right.
definitely see the effort, the content that you're doing, the topics, seeking wisdom from other people that you feel may be able to add some value or benefit to what you have going on. That's self-explanatory
Mhm.
in my eyes. I mean, it's like I said, work in progress. So you got to forgive yourself sometimes if you jump out of character and you go back and revert to them old ways.
Right.
I
I
don't
just tell y'all, excuse me. This other person about to take over. No, but I'm really trying to do better with
log
this.
off. Okay, if you don't want to hear what I got to say, log off.
Yeah, right. I'll see y'all on the next live. Once I done
Yeah,
calm down. Give me a couple of days.
you
So
will.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate, and I don't want to hold you long. This is a Saturday, so I know you probably been on here for an hour, almost 30 minutes, in a few minutes, but I definitely enjoyed you. I wanted to know, what is the last thing that you want to leave people coming into 2025? You're looking at your life and you're looking at some things that's going on in the world. What do you want to leave people with um, today?
I got my struggles too. I got things that I battle every day.
Mhm.
Um, we all do. We living in a time in history and in this world that if you don't, you're lying. You're
Mhm.
are called cap.
Right.
Everybody has got some struggles that they're dealing with. Um, it is not what we do, it's how we respond to how life and what life throws at us. So I did want to say this, and I'm kind of going reverting back when you were talking about ladies and being and having class. I just, if you would allow me, I would like to
Oh,
elaborate on that
yeah.
more.
Mhm.
You have men will when I speak on you teach people how to treat you, the way that you carry yourself, women will absolutely depict and determine how a man approaches you, the kinds of conversations, statements, um, um, the level of aggression or lack thereof. That depends on us. We have that kind of power. We
Mhm.
have the power is in you, and you can change that if you don't like the way that men or people in general, but I'm going to speak from an opposite sex standpoint, that if men are approaching you and they are comfortable being inappropriate, or they're comfortable saying things and teetering, and they know they're trying to see what your response is going to be, you have the power to depict on how a man treats you by the way that you present yourself. Men watch everything. I listen to men on this platform, and there are men that know women better than women know women. If you listen
Oh,
to them
really?
speak,
Now, who would that be?
listen. If you know, you
Who
know.
would that be? Oh my God.
It's more than one.
Oh, okay.
It's more
Tell
than
me,
one.
honey, because I
I'm
don't.
just saying, if you listen to some of the men speak, they've been around women, whether they've been raised by women, they've been in long-term relationships or relationships with different types of women. And but that's what I'm saying. They're observant. They see and notice everything, though they won't speak on everything, right?
Mhm.
So it's in the presentation. It's in, if you, there was a saying, and I know even the young heads have probably heard it, but I'm telling you, it's so profound. Leave something to the imagination. Men are always, they are the pursuer. They are the hunter. They are the one that is supposed to do the pursuing. If you give them everything at face value and you present to them and you leave nothing to the imagination, where do you leave them room to pursue you? If they're not inquisitive about anything and you putting your business on out there for them, whether it's through the way that you dress, whether it's through the way you speak, whether it's through the way that you communicate, whether it's through your daily habits, the way that move around or whatever level of exposure they have to you, it goes deep. And I know I may not be accurately saying it the way that I would like to, but my point being is that we have the power to determine how a man will approach us, treat us, and the level of respect he will have for us.
Okay.
That is up to us. We can't hold all these men responsible for how they come at us when the common denominator is us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's nothing wrong with being straightforward. There's nothing wrong with, dressing. I wouldn't even say seductively. I would just say leave something to the imagination. There's nothing wrong with your confidence. There's nothing wrong with dressing yourself up a certain type of way, as long as your man sees what the man does not. So
right.
You're presenting yourself and you walking around in biker shorts with no panties on and no bra on, or they notice that.
Well, I definitely can't get away with that.
Listen, I know you can't, but there's a lot. I'm telling you, I think I used to, let me just say that I used to love going grocery shopping.
Uh-huh.
I used to love to go to the grocery store to pick out, it was a whole process and art to pick out food and get the menu ready for my family and this and that and the other. And it was at one point, it was like a get out of the house thing for me, right?
Right.
Then I had my son, and it's like, I don't even like taking him to the grocery store. There's something about these grocery stores and going out in public to functions where it's like, why just not walk around buck naked?
Right.
You might as well. There are some parents that have younger children. We're so hypersexualized as a culture that leads everything else. That leads in conversations. It's prominent in the music. It's in the entertainment. It's in the movies. It's in the cartoons. It's everywhere on these devices that our kids pick up. It's in the schools. We used to have to, I've always either went to a school that we had uniforms or they had strict dress codes. Because for that specific reason, I take my son to school or pick him up for football practice, and the little tennis players walking around. Girl, your mama let you out of the house like that, and you 14, 15 years old. So I was just raised in a different time.
Yeah.
I just was. I call me an old head, call me what you want to call me, but I think that it's multifaceted and multidimensional when you have men that just don't really have overall a huge respect for women because of how we're carrying ourselves.
And it also created some lazy men as well. And the reason why I say that is because some women make it so easy. They think every woman is just going to be that easy. And so when it becomes a challenge, it's like, she requires a little too much. She's too high maintenance. When you just have a standard for yourself, you just don't let people treat you any kind of way. That's the difference. So I think that with women doing that, it does create lazy men because men
There's
now
nothing to pursue.
Exactly. They can, if a woman will, I have heard women say, I have told the man, I want him, I want to sleep with him or whatever. Like, I go to the gym and, one of the, supervisors that worked there was talking to me and he was telling me, he was like, this woman comes in here every day to tell me that she wants to suck his Peter Paul almond joy.
Because that's all they feel they have to offer.
Right. He said she's attractive. She's out here working out. And she comes here every day. And I'm like, wow. And it's like he's like he doesn't want a woman like that. But some men, sometimes they say they don't, but that's what they pursue. That's what they go for. When you got the woman over here that's gonna make you do a little bit more work, you having to get to know before she taking off her clothes. Oh nah, that's she want too much. She ain't. But you said you want a wife. So
Yeah, but that
sometimes,
wife has to be able to lead with more than just what she wears and how she presents herself. And I
yeah, she has to have a personality.
and
She
she
has
got to know. Look, okay. So personality doesn't necessarily make a wife. Okay.
no
Now you got to know how to cook. You got to know how to
right
take care of home. Are you of childbearing age? Do y'all have the same uh,
goals
beliefs on
or
how to
belief.
raise a family?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of education the children? I mean, you got to because at the end of the day, the family is a business. The
Correct.
family court, and it should be treated as such, as a business, because we're going to treat business. We tend to treat business more seriously when it comes to dollar signs and sustenance and all of that, better than we do our own relationships when they're interchangeable. One, you
Mm-hmm.
can't separate one without the other. My father had a family business. And when I say a family business, he started the business, but the family supported the business. Family worked in the business. We took shifts. We made sacrifices. We all worked together cohesively, whether we wanted to or not, because all of us were invested and all of us had something to lose. But a wife is, you have to be a wife before you become a wife. So
Mm.
it takes more. And let me tell you, a man knows the difference between somebody he wants to wife up and somebody he want to sleep with, or somebody he just wants to kick it with, or have fun with, or take trips with, or go eat with. That's a whole different ball game when you're talking about sharing assets, when you're talking about cohabitating in the same space day in and day out, sharing children and DNA and raising them and being on the same accord, a woman knowing how to allow a man to be a man, to lead, to direct. But then as women, we have to pick better. We have to pick somebody we trust to lead. But in order
That
to
part.
even pick somebody that we trust to lead, we have to be in position for him to choose us.
Mm. I
We have.
was, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, the way we present ourselves. I've been saying this, but that's important because men aren't gonna say it to us typically all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time they're not, but they know right off of the rip if you are wifey material or if you just good for the time being, based
Wow.
based off of what you present to him. What can
Mm-hmm.
you add long term to this relationship? Are
Mm-hmm.
you Do you have the characteristics of being a good mom? Do you like to go to the club? Are you always trying to be out in the street? Is your house clean? Is your bathroom and kitchens, are they maintained to being spotless all the time? Do you care about feeding your man a hot cooked meal, or do you want to be wined and dined all the time? Men, it's good for the moment, it's good temporarily, but if you want to be a wife, you have to be a wife before you become a wife.
Preach, preach, preach. I've been hearing that very often from family members, everybody. So yeah, you not telling me no lies. You're not telling me no lies. I think as little girls, we're taught fairy tales, right? We're taught fairy tales that our Prince Charming is gonna come out and save us, right? But no one tells us until we get maybe in our 30s that you need to be a wife before you can actually be received as one, right? So I think our generation, from millennials to even Generation Z that's behind us, we have a lot of learning to do in a very short time, right? And I like what you said. It takes more than how you present yourself. Do you have the mindset of being a wife? Do you keep the house clean? Do you know how to manage money? Or are you willing to work together so y'all can manage money? Because some of us, we got our weakness and strengths. That's why you have to find someone that has some strengths where you don't, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So that you can work together as a business, as you would say, right? So I'm finally getting it. Unfortunately for me, I wish I would have gotten this in my 20s. But, hey, you
Listen,
you
don't
bought
say that.
into a
I want
fantasy.
you to I want you to retract that. And the reason why I want you to retract that, first of all, words have power. Second of all, if you were to got it in your or get it in your 20s, if you were to get it, then that means you would have been ready. You haven't, evidently you weren't ready, or the mate that is being prepared for you was not ready. Somebody was being in the preparation stage.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in divine time. We want the here, the now. We live in a microwave society where once we get the solution in our head and we think
Right.
we figured everything out, now we need the results to materialize because I just got it, right?
Right.
And, and that is not real life. There are things that God will allow us to go through. I used to always say, God, why did you allow me to get breast cancer so young?
Mm.
It used to be considered like an old person's disease. And
Right.
I had it in my head where I was like, I'm too young to be going through this. And then I felt like I was a victim. I felt, not for long, because you can't heal with that type of mindset. Not
Mhm.
going through what I went through, right? But I'm just saying, for a spell, I was like, okay, I don't understand why you allow me. Did I do something wrong? Is it karma? But you know what? Now that God gave me the grace to not only go through the fire, but to come out with no evidence that I've been through the fire,
Mhm.
that's a blessing. That means that it was the divine time, and it was not through my time, but through God's time, to say that now that diamond and the pressure and the heat that you withstood, now you are that diamond that you were supposed to be, that you were created to be.
Mhm.
You are talking about slowly getting things in your 30s, baby. You got women that check up out of here every day that ain't never got a lesson or never absorbed a lesson enough to allow it to change their circumstances. So, all I'm saying is that I think it would bring you some more peace if you are able to make peace with the fact that you are exactly where you should be. And I want you to remember something else. And I know I might get some pushback on this, but this is what I believe. I truly believe we are not put here for ourselves. We are
Right.
put here for others. We are not created. Narcissism is not a characteristic that represents God, right?
Right.
We were put here to serve and to be of service for other people. So the less we make it about us, the more in tune we can become with our purpose that God has designed for our lives. And therefore, it will yield more peace.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I'm learning this year. This year I've definitely, it's like, if I don't get nothing else out of life, God help me to live right. Help me to try to treat people the way I want to be treated. Help me not to have any regrets. And let me just enjoy whatever life I have. Let me be able to enjoy it.
Mhm.
And let me be able to help somebody else. Because, like you said, we're not here for ourselves. There's a bigger picture than we can ever imagine. Um, and a lot of the times we overlook it because we're looking at what we want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this is. No.
Now, this person has some disparaging things to say about me on Kwame's panel the other evening. I don't know. I listen.
Oh, okay.
I guess
Oh,
I must be making a difference somewhere. You
yeah, because I was like,
platform
well,
to another.
okay. I didn't know what was going on. So, okay. Well, hello. How are you? Um, I don't know. But anyway, this is my last, well, I got two more questions. What's your beauty regimen? Do you have a beauty regimen?
I do. I do.
You're not gonna share?
No, I love sharing.
Okay.
I'm pretty simple. So I'm into energy. I love energy and less is more for me.
Mhm.
I have my little quirks, but I love bentonite clay for my face and my neck area or my skin. My skin.
Mhm.
So bentonite clay masks is what I use as well. I drink a lot of water. I can do better on the sleep aspect of it, but
Mhm.
I I was always told that whatever you put on your skin, you should be able to eat.
Mhm.
And I think that's being a little, unrealistic for the culture that we live in.
Right.
It's not for some of us, right? Because there are a lot of people that have learned and have been into the herbs and the natural resources from the earth in order to be able to utilize what their purposes are and utilize them. I do my
Mhm.
best. I do a lot of water-based lotions. I
Okay.
don't use petroleum of any kind. My eyesight could be better. I've been
Yeah.
taking some eye bright, but I know that takes which is a herb of the earth, right? But it
Mhm.
takes a while for it to kick in. And as for my hair, I not too long ago, I learned to actually find products for my hair type. I had short hair for so long because I
Mhm.
don't like hair on my ears. It makes my ears
Okay.
itch. But it was a transition for me. So I use castor oil on my eyebrows and my hair. I do hot oil
Right.
treatments because my hair tends to be really dry. Um, and I just use a lot of products that don't have a lot of different ingredients or chemicals in them until I can get into now there's sometimes I will do mayonnaise conditioners.
Mhm.
I'll put mayonnaise and olive oil in my hair and let it sit, and it'll definitely moisturize my hair. But I'm pretty simple. Just keep my skin moisturized from the inside out, drink a lot of water, stay away from processed foods. I indulge every now and again. I ain't gonna front. I love my little friend, my
Right.
little Parmesan covered cheese French fries
Right. Right.
every now and again. However,
Wow.
yeah, for the most part, yeah, I just try to be mindful and intentional about. But the bentonite clay and sea moss, yeah, I always talk about my sea moss.
Yeah, I have my sea
Sea moss
moss too.
mask,
I
yes.
got it.
Have you ever used it as a mask?
No, I've never used it as a mask. I always did it internally. So,
Okay. Well, if you get the original, or if you learn how to make it and you don't put
uh-huh.
in, there's nothing else in it but water and sea moss, you
Mhm.
can, it tightens the skin, gives it elasticity, and it also moisturizes it. Of course, you want to put your moisturizer in whatever beauty regimen you use on top of that, but
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm a
So
work
you
in
don't wear any
progress.
makeup, like you don't have any lipstick or anything
I
like that.
do, but it goes bad. My friends always buy me makeup,
Uh-huh.
always, because I'm the only one I think in my tribe that don't really wear it. And I have for like weddings, I'll put on like a little foundation. I like
Right.
lip gloss. I don't like lipstick because I don't like to keep maintaining it.
Yeah, as I'm getting older, I'm getting a little bit more simple too. In the 20s, you think, and even your late teens, when my dad would allow me to every now and then, like I
Mhm.
would love the different lip colors and all that. But now, as I'm getting older, I'm like, look, every now and then, but a lip gloss will do. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because I ain't finna keep doing all that. And most of the time, you have to be careful that you don't overdo it, because sometimes
Mhm.
you look like a clown, so you have to be very cautious of that. And it was one guy said, a man wants to see how if you get in in the rain or in the water or something. He was saying basically, you need to work on your natural beauty so that when anything, like if you in a rain or you in a swimming pool, people won't be surprised that oh, is this Freddy Krueger or is this is this the girl that I thought that So we, I think that it's good to work on our natural beauty. How we do that is internally. Most of it is internal.
Mhm.
Collagen
That
is a good
part.
one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Collagen, I love me some collagen. That's what keeps, your skin smooth. It keeps it, with less blemishes on your face. Another good thing that I do with collagen, I also have a good multivitamin that also helps. And I like taking different types of minerals. So
Mhm.
that helps with hair, skin, nails. It definitely, like I said, you won't age as fast,
Mhm.
and usually, um, people that are African American don't age as fast as maybe some other ethnic groups do. But I have lately been seeing some just because of their lifestyle. They, whatever you take inside, that's what's going to come on the outside. So we definitely have to be careful with that. The last question is, did you have fun, Miss Akemi?
Did I have fun? When?
Yes, did you have fun
When?
today?
Oh yeah,
Right now, like,
of
like,
course I
what
did.
you know? Like, did you have a
No,
good time?
listen. I wanted to be clear on that
Did
question
you,
before I
did you
answered
feel
it.
comfortable? Did I not? I wasn't too invasive. I want to get your true feedback on live, and I want you to be totally honest.
Oh, well,
If,
that's the only way I really know how to be.
okay, go ahead, and lay it on
No,
me.
I have felt, I thought now I did expect us, which we kind of did toward the end, to talk about, hygiene, but we talked about the way a woman cares. So definitely touched on the subjects that I was under the impression we were going to talk about. But yeah, I've been very comfortable, and I think it went very well, and I definitely have enjoyed myself. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to, come up and give a little bit of me, and my story, which I don't do all the time. I'm very
Mhm.
particular about putting that out. But no, I definitely, I have no issues or nothing. I've all is well.
All right.
All
Okay,
is
because I
well.
just wanted to make sure. I'm like, I'm a little scared. You talking about where? I'm like, what? You know. Anyway,
No,
but
when you said did you have fun, I'm thinking because we were talking about
no, I
the
was talking about
past
him.
and childhood, and I'm like, look, you don't want me to get off into it. Well, what time? That college? We talking about middle school? We talking
No,
about?
I know
Let
you
me get
had
my
fun in
fun
college.
in now. I will get my fun in.
I know that's right, honey. I tell everybody I love to dance. I love to have a good time, but I also like to learn too, and that's why I have these type of platforms where I can have women that have experienced life more than I have, and
Mhm.
get it, wisdom and just information, that will be helpful for not only me but anybody that is willing to listen and apply it. So thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry again. Like I said, when my breaker went out, I was just like, this is not the day, not the time for this to be happening because it happened shortly before I got on with you. So I thank you
Well,
for
you
being
dealt with
patient.
it very well, may I add? Because had you not said anything, I would have never known.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just like, oh my God, this is just not the day. So I appreciate you for your patience. I appreciate you also for your support because you do support my channel as well as I support yours as well. So thank you so much. And maybe next time I can get Miss Yo Thoughts up here. Maybe, maybe you can put in a good word for me and have her to come up because I would love to also talk to Miss Yo Thoughts as well. But
She is a
guys,
walking encyclopedia.
yeah, I mean, Laverne and Shirley, Lord,
That's my
yeah.
girl.
But
Yeah.
I definitely had a great time. I'm about to go and get me some tamales. So I'm really excited about that. And we also have a cold front coming in. So I don't know. Hopefully, God willing, it will ice so I won't have to go back to work for a few days. But I'm definitely, like I said, Monday, I'm definitely taking off. They're saying that we're going to have some very cold weather coming through here. So
How
I'm getting ready.
long? How long is it supposed to hang around where you
I
are?
think it's just like a couple of days, but you just never can tell. They can only predict so much. But however long, I'm enjoy it. I
You
can
with
see
it,
it.
right? That's right.
I enjoy it. So I
Well, I
appreciate you.
appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity to come up here and chop it up with you. I appreciate the hospitality, the welcome. You just welcoming atmosphere. It's just the
Thank you.
topics, everything. I believe, and I'm hoping that somebody will benefit from something that has been said, and that's my whole purpose for actually doing what I do now is just to share, what I know, right, wrong, or indifferent. Transparency is important. So
And I appreciate. So a lot of times, Mr. King, sometimes you be in the bushes, don't
a lot of times because I be moving around.
you? Uh-huh.
I'm
Oh, okay.
always now. My life is constructed at least at this point in time, and I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now. So I've learned how to multitask, and now I have wrenches in a lot of channels too. So
Yeah.
I try to pop in and kind of just moderate every now and again. But no, I definitely, that ain't no secret. I watch a
Yeah.
lot now, but I watch a lot from the bushes on this side. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm not, I
You
don't.
better, because, honey, they see you in them chats, boy, and it's no mixing and mingling. Just remember that. No mixing and mingling. But I will say this, Mr. Kimi, you have been a joy. You are, I'm not going to say you're easy to get to know because that's not true, because I'm not. But I will say that you are, from what I can observe from you, you seem like a very genuine person, and you mean what you say when you say it, and you only deal with who you want to deal with. And that is something that I can definitely relate to. And I appreciate the woman that you are. I always like to, every woman that comes on my platform, I always like to give them their roses because enough of the fake women empowerment. I'm talking about some real genuine stuff on how I see you. You know what I'm saying? And I really see that you're the type of person that you don't mean anybody any harm. If you can't do them any good, you would rather go away.
That's it. That's
So
it. That ain't
shout
no
out.
secret.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Akemi for that. Shout out for her sharing her wisdom and her knowledge, and just for her being a survivor. A lot of times we don't really realize that when people go through these illnesses, especially something like cancer, they are some of the most strongest people.
And you know what? If I can just take this moment to extend for anybody that may be going through some health challenges, it doesn't have to be cancer per se, it can be anything that's life threatening. I impart a prayer to you. I impart great energy. I do my best because I did change my whole health regimen around. I take better care of myself from the inside out. So I have learned some things in order to prevent having to go through anything like that experience once more. So you definitely can change everything around with some sacrifice, with some dedication, and the will to want to live. Don't ever give up hope. And that's all I really have to say on that. But I appreciate you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and share some of my thoughts. I appreciate you, pretty lady.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to get off camera. Got a little emotional, but you be blessed. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Thank you guys for giving your input in the chat. I appreciate anybody that super chat or cashed out me. You are much appreciated. Thank you so much. And guys, please sub up to Miss Akemi. I believe Cutting Edge had put it in the chat. Please sub up to her if you want some different type of content. She is definitely somebody that you need to pay attention to. So shout out to Miss Akemi. And guys, I'm gone. I'm finna go get me some tamales and wipe my eyes and get ready to go get me some tamales. Yes.
Enjoy. And what they say, dry your eyes. You're fine, and enjoy the rest of your day. And you know what? Just count your blessings, pretty lady. You got a lot of them.
Thank you. Love you to Reese's Pieces. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Selena.
It's a bad baby. Oak Cliff girl. Can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl. Put them heels on and rule.
Welcome to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows.
It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You're gonna be my number one lover. Spending the night making love to each other, with the lights on top of the covers, just me and you, babe. And I feel like you're my
love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana boo boo.